Well, hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, and welcome to another series working on this guy right there. That is our P-40E Warhawk by Hasegawa, and we're doing a 1/32nd scale plane today. So, I will load the intro and we'll get right into it, alright? Alright guys, so like I said, we're starting a new series today, and we're going to go through. I've already opened the box and I have primed everything. I went through and I primed all the sprues so that I don't have to do this on video, and you guys don't have to wait. So after I go through all the sprues and see what we've got, we can actually get into maybe actually putting a little bit together today. So let's go through. Decent sized box with quite a few parts in this thing. I would say it's not nearly as detailed as a Tamiya, say the 1/32nd scale P-51 Mustang or F-51 Mustang, whichever version you're going to build. The Tamiya kit, definitely a lot more detail to that one than what's in this guy, but this is still pretty good. And I've been wanting to do a P-40 for a long time. I've always thought they're pretty cool looking plane with a shark mouth on the nose and everything like that. So yeah, I just wanted to do something, you know. Anyway, let's go through these. So we have, looks like fuel tanks, bombs, the 3 propellers, the nose, a couple of the little bits on here. Detail looks pretty good. I'll change the camera so you can get a decent look at this. If you're considering a P-40, I would recommend the Hasegawa kit. I did a little bit of research online to see which would be the best brand to choose for if you want to do a P-40 Warhawk. And so I've chosen the Hasegawa, and so that's what I'm going to do. So there's that one. We've got one particular sprue here that's got our tail fin on it, a little tail section. And then this looks like our engine covers or exhaust covers. And that's it. That's all that's on that one. We have 2 sprues that are identical. This would be our T sprue with our tires, our hubs, and could possibly be other landing gear bits. I really don't know yet because I haven't really gone through the instructions. And what looks like our exhaust tips. And 2 sprues, these are identical, both the same, just like that. Okay. We got another small sprue that has our seat, pilot seat, and this looks like maybe the rear bulkhead that goes in behind the seat. And then this looks like a couple of rear panels that go in right behind the canopy on the outside of the plane. I have no idea what that is, and I have no idea what that is. We'll find out when the time comes, right? Finally, we have one of our main sprues, which has our 2 fuselage halves on it, nice and big. A couple of other bits and details, our main guns on the wings, and what looks like maybe a bulkhead on the front landing gear. And we flip this over and we've got some detail here. So these are probably the landing gear roofs, where our landing gear wheels go in, our main gear anyway. And this, I'm not sure what this is, but like I said, like everything else, we're gonna find out. We got another big sprue that's got our tail fins and our elevators on there. Quite a bit of detail. We're going to be 2 halves of each. So we've got that, and of course we've got our pilot that I'm not going to bother building. And then a couple of other pieces. These looks like the inside walls of the cockpits here and here. Our landing gear struts. And that's about it. Oh, we got, it looks like a machine gun or some kind of a gun anyway. Yeah, looks like our control pedals for the cockpit. That's what those look like to me. I could be right, I could be wrong, I don't know. And we have 2 final sprues. Our main wing, underside of the main wings, and of course our last sprue has the upper part of the main wings, and that's all that's on them. We've got 4 little poly caps in there, and of course we have one clear sprue which has our canopy pieces on it. So I'm just going to put these back in the box for now. Switch this here. I'll put these all away back in the box, and we'll go through some of the plans that I have for this guy. Okay, so a long time ago, as you can see here, I went and decided I want to build this plane, but I want to add a little detail to it. As you guys know, I do like to add a little bit of detail to my stuff, but I don't go crazy with it. I'm not a professional modeler, so I don't have the skill nor the patience to hyper detail my kits. But I did pick up some resin wheels that just have a little bit better detail to them than what the factory, what the kit ones do. If I can actually pull them out of here, we can compare them. So here's our kit tires, which have, so the tread pattern on these is just lines, 3 grooves. I don't know what you call it when the groove just goes around the wheel like this and it's not side by side. My resin wheels have an actual tread pattern on them. Let me change the camera and see if I can get it, show you the detail here. Let me do this. I'll just do this to show you what I mean by the tread pattern. You can see the tread pattern on that. It's just the line going around it, and then like that. So if you were to put these two halves together, that's really the only detail you're going to have as far as tread goes. And then we have the resin wheel that I've picked, that I bought. Let's see if I can get that in there. You can see the tread pattern on there, right? Looks a lot better. The inside of the rim obviously is a lot more detail also, and of course this side of the hub has a part that goes in here like this, that drops in there, and yeah, plus there's another part here that I gotta clean up and get all those out, and that's gonna go over top. Yeah, there's a lot of detail on these, okay, compared to the kit ones. Here's the kit hub, and that's that. And then this piece here is this, which I have in photo etch. There's a comparison there. So yeah, yeah, a lot more detail. A lot more detail on the resin tires, that's for sure. And so yeah, those will look nicer. Plus they've got the flat spot on them. You got a flat spot for, you know, to signify the weight that's laid down. That should actually sit by itself, just like that. Yeah, that's the resin tires. Another thing I picked up, this was a long time ago actually, I've had these for a while, from Edward. I've got some cockpit detail stuff you can see here. This particular one, the 32704, is for if you're doing a P-40M. And then 32675 is if you're doing P-40N late interior. So depending on which one you're going to do, although these particular frets, these sections of photo etch are identical. I've looked at them extensively and these are the same, but when you flip this over and you look at the frets on this side, these ones are different. These ones are different, whether you're going to do the M or the N. So these are different. I think this little funny shaped thing is actually a seat. It's a pilot seat. Same with this one. It's what I think. I haven't actually opened these up to look yet because I'm not actually building the N. Because I'm building the E. And I happen to have Edward's Look series of the instrument panel and the side panel, which is really a lot more detail. In this one, you literally take off of this sprue and replace the kit part with it, instead of dealing with photo etch where, you know, you've seen me do photo etch stuff before where you got to take the original kit part, sand that down, file that down really smooth, and then you can put your photo etch on. This one actually replaces the part, so that's different. Plus I've got a little photo etch thing with some nice detailed seat belts, and that's it. So here's the pictures on the back, so you get a nice idea of what they look like. Now this looks really nice. I'm going to pull this out of the package here so you can see the detail on this, of course, way better than I could ever paint. It's really, really good. They've really done a good job on this one. Yeah, they show you here instructions. Edward's pretty good at this, you know. They're good at showing you exactly how all their parts go together on the kit, which kit parts to replace and which ones to keep. So yeah, they show you putting this, oh, these actually go together like this. So that looks nice. And then of course we got our seat belts that are going to go over the seat like that. So yeah, if we can get the camera to focus, that should look good. Let me change the camera here. That is a really nice looking detailed instrument panel. That's going to look really nice, and like I said, that looks way better than anything I could paint. Right, and then there's our seat belts. A little bit of folding and stuff that needs to be done on those, but yeah. So there you go. That's going to look really good. And of course the gauges, they got the gloss to them, so they look like glass. Yeah, it looks nice. Really well done. These are really well done. I really like that. Looks good. So I'm actually going to throw that. So if you're interested, you're doing a P-40E, look for the Edward 634013. Okay. Anyway, the tires, they're actually Edward's Brassin series. P40 wheels with pattern, 1/32 scale for the Hasegawa kit specifically, 632080. And of course, they come with our wheels. They even come with some masks. So to help you out painting, some masks there, they're pre-cut for them. So yeah, it's really nice. Good job, Edward. We'll give you props for that. All right. So that is that. That's my little spiel with the interior. Of course, I forgot about the sprue. I had it sitting here. This is the actual instrument gauge out of the kit. It is sculpted really well. I'll change the camera and see if it'll focus on it. It is sculpted really well, but like I said, I would not be able to paint it as well as what the Edward pre-done one looks. Right? So I just don't have the skill. We have decal sheet. I think I am gonna we actually have a decal sheet of the instrument panel, but you could lay down on that if you wanted to. So they give you that also. They also give you separate decals that are just the gauges themselves, almost like it's two different scenarios what you want to do with it. Anyway, I do want to use the shark mouth. I just, you know, since I was a kid, I wanted to have a P40 with the shark mouth. Anyway, that's that. Let's take a look at our instructions. Oh, and our clear piece. We actually have 2 clear sprues. And actually, I believe it was 1 sprue all like this. We have 2 different canopies. I looked through the instructions why there's 2. It's because one, if you're going to use one if it's open, you're going to have it displayed open, and one if you're going to have it displayed closed. That's going to be the deciding factor on that. And then of course we've got our front one, which is nice because it's integrated as part of the fuselage, so masking that and gluing it down is going to be a little bit easier. And then we've got our typical little clear stuff that usually goes on the tips of wings and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into actually building this thing and see what we've got here. So that was 20 minutes of rambling. Oh, paint colors. I'm not sure. We got a couple of paint schemes here depending on what plane you're going to build. I think I'm going to go for the U.S. Army Air Force 76th FS 23rd FG Major Edward F. Rector China, July 1942. That is obviously one of our, they call them, what do they call them? The Flying Tigers, I think they called them. That particular group of guys, I'm going to be building this one. I don't want to do the other one. I want to do the Flying Tiger because, well, I want to have the shark mouth. And that's basically it. I will do the camouflage pattern. I have my colors picked out. For the underside, I'm going to be doing Mr. Color 73. That is aircraft gray. I'm going to be using this for the belly. I'm going to be using for our brown color. I'm going to be using Mr. Color 310 brown, which is the equivalent of an FS 30219. Yeah, I think that's good enough representation. And for the green, Mr. Color 309 green, FS 34079. Those are my colors, okay? And of course for the zinc chromate, I'm going to be using their zinc chromate, number 351, also from Mr. Color. So we're doing all Mr. Color paints, except for, you know, maybe a little detail stuff I'll be using Tamiya's as I usually do, but for the actual plane, for the fuselage, we're doing Mr. Color stuff, okay? Alright, so, oh yes, of course. First things we do is we're building the cockpit. And of course I'm going to have to paint a lot of this kind of before assembly, simply because once it's assembled, it gets hard to paint. But a couple of things we can do. I need to go through and maybe what I'll do is I'll go through, see what colors I need to do, because what I haven't done yet is I haven't gone through the book. Normally I go through the instruction manual, go through every single one and see what colors I need to do, and write them down in the manual, so that when I get to that part I know what color it's supposed to be. Or if I know I'm going to assemble this, and then I can pre-paint it ahead of time and kind of do a session of brush painting on detail stuff, right? And I look at, okay, I've got my black, and then I'll go through what's black, and I'll grab it all and I'll do black, and I'll kind of do 20 minutes of painting just black, little parts that are black, and then I'll grab the silver and see what's silver on here, and kind of go through like that, right? So what I'm going to do, before I go any further, I actually am going to just go through and we will go through and see what all the colors are that I need, and then we'll come back, okay? So we'll just do that.
1 hour later.
Okay, so I've gone through the whole book and I have put in all my colors. A lot of this stuff is zinc chromate, as far as our cockpit interior is. The seat is, the floorboard is, the back wall, even one of our control sticks, the pedals, each side wall of the cockpit is the zinc. The inside of the plane, the fuselage, is zinc. Our little panel here that goes up on the top, that's all zinc, with a couple little silver details. So I don't have my camera set up to show you guys painting, because I actually wasn't prepared to just go ahead and start painting, but maybe I should do that. And yeah, maybe I'll get my camera set up and we can do a little bit of painting here real quick, just to at least get the zinc painted, so we can actually start assembling next time. So I'll do that. I'll get my zinc done. I'll get my camera set up there, and so I can show you guys, and we'll paint some zinc chromate, okay?
Moments later.
I have my air compressor fired up. I'm ready to go. And so we're going to mix some zinc chromate with some of Mr. Hobby's leveling thinner, and we're going to do some painting. This stuff is pretty thick, at least I think it is. It seems thick. It seems pretty thick. Yeah, it's so thick it looks like the cap. Yeah, funny. Now, let's get that stuck back down in there. Okay, I think we've got enough in there that I can do this. So I like the Mr. Leveling Thinner. I don't have to use a leveling thinner. I could just use regular thinner. Regular old hardware store thinner out of the container is going to be fine. So let's pour some of that in there. See how much I got. Yep, that's going to be plenty. Oh boy, she's thick. She is thick. This stuff, you know, Mr. Color paints really are thick. Straight out of the jar. Compared to Tamiya, they are thick. It's a thick paint. Which is why I like to, I'll thin my Mr. Colors a little bit more than I do my Tamiyas. In reality, I thin my Tamiyas maybe about 60% thinner. But Mr. Color, I find they need like a good 70%. Anyway, so let's switch the camera to my painting cam and we'll start painting some stuff, okay? Let's switch here. Alright, this is choppy as usual. I don't know why this camera is always so choppy, but that's okay. So, let's get to it. And the camera just shut off. See, this is why I don't like doing this. This is the problems I have with this camera. It just decides to shut off on me for no reason at all. And it's actually because it's dead. It needs to be charged. What I can do is move this out of the way, a little bit like that, so at least you can kind of see what I'm doing, so that it's not just totally off the camera completely. I suppose this way you get to actually watch me paint. We have to get in all the angles, otherwise it doesn't look right. I am noticing that this particular paint, I am having to really pull back on the trigger to get it to flow because it is so thick. But it's not really a big deal at all. It works. Okay, so there was this. I think this is a control stick that needs to be painted. Chromate also. Could be wrong. If not, then we'll paint it a different color, right? It's that simple. all of a sudden this stuff is flowing a lot better. I don't know why. I think maybe suddenly we've got down to the thinner, and I've got the thinner paint now coming out of the brush. Maybe when, even though I put, yeah, it's flowing a lot better now all of a sudden, just randomly, it's seemingly random. It's now flowing a lot better than it was. Okay, I don't know if there was anything off of our O tree that I need to paint. Let me see. 05, yep, 05 needs to be painted. The zinc color. And 034, yep. 05, this guy here. Now one thing you can do if you really want to go, I know a lot of guys do it, they really go crazy with their chipping, paint chipping and stuff like that on the interior, and just really go crazy, super detailed. I don't plan on going crazy with the detail in this kit. Okay, I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to spend the next month painting this thing. Obviously I need a lot of stuff off the A tree. I'm just going to flip through here to double check. K, that's the T, that's O. So I've got to do the K stuff. What about T? Any T pieces need to be zinc. It doesn't look like it. Q, yeah, A4, yeah, okay, so a lot of stuff off of our A tree needs to be zinc. Let's move some stuff out of the way here, because why bother getting overspray on things that don't need it, right? That's right. Again, sorry my camera's not working. At least you can sort of see what needs to be done here. Making sure I'm getting all the way in that. Inside that bucket there. Inside of our landing gear bay doors, those are all going to be zinc. A lot of stuff is zinc. Roof of our landing gear, main gear door. Machine zinc. There's a few pieces that go into this that are going to be zinc also. Just lots of zinc. This funny looking piece. She's zinc. These guys are zinc. Just everything. World War II, right? So everything had that zinc chromate coating on it, whether it wanted it or not. I gotta go back and look at the beginning here. Yep, that piece too. I think basically if it wasn't part of the plane, then it wasn't zinc, and that's basically, if it was made of metal, it had zinc coating on it. I think it's a good rule of thumb for World War II stuff. as you can tell, pretty much everything on this is getting a good coat of zinc on it. Some ejector pin marks on the inside of the fuselage. It doesn't look very pretty, but it's one of those things, you know. There's really not much I can do. I mean, well, there is. I was gonna say that there's not much I can do about it, but really you can. You can use some putty filler, you can fill those in, sand it down, make them nice and smooth like they're supposed to be. But like I say, at the end of the day, what's going to be visible is what's important. If you're happy with it, sometimes I think the ejection pin marks add a little bit of character. You know, they can add character to it without it really trying. Now, I have this piece here. This guy here, I'm not sure if he needs to be zinc or not. Okay, I even got to the K tree, which is the basic part of this, but I need to look for that. That is on the A tree. That goes under here, and he does not get a zinc coating. All right. Well, maybe he should on the inside. Maybe he should. I'm not sure how visible it's going to be, if any. Actually, no, he's not going to get any. But this guy, these are rear landing gear bay doors. They need a coat. A couple of these pieces on here, I'm not sure which side is the visible side. So I have to go through. It's A24, 25, and 32. It looks like, yeah, we get both sides of them need to be painted. Yeah. Part number 34, which looks like the rear landing gear I don't want to call it a pod or a box. This guy here looks like it's open, and that's supposed to be all zinc on the inside there. So do that too. Sides. Two coats really gets it a good coverage, and you really notice the difference in the hue when you get that second coat on there. I'm not sure which side of this big wall is going to be visible. I have been known to go through the trouble of painting something completely, only to find out later that the side I painted is not visible at all. That has happened to me, and that's okay. For example, that piece I just painted, I don't know if that side's the visible side or if it's the other side that's visible. And so I painted both sides just in case. Same with these little square things. I don't know what these are, but I'm painting them green just in case I need to. And this guy needs his second coat. And that looks like that's about it for this particular tree. I believe so, anyway. Okay, that's that. Now we have our K tree, which is the last tree, which is good because I'm almost out of paint and I have to add more. Only one side of these get painted. That's on the inside here. They want that painted on the inside. I think. Let me go back to those. They show them here. Right here. Step 3. Oh, it's just this inside part. Okay. So it's just the little engraving in there, but that's okay. So, and I've got to get rid of some little knobs on this. Like that. Okay. just like that. You just do that section. The back of the seat is one of those things that, like, hey, you're never going to see it, so why are you bothering? And just it's because I want to be complete in what I'm doing. Okay, that's about it. That's about it. I'm actually used up just about all the paint in my cup. And yeah, which means I've got just about enough time to clean up my cup and then I gotta go. So, unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Kind of starting off a build always requires a whole bunch of painting right at the beginning, and that's how it goes. And so again, I apologize, my painting camera's not working. I gotta get that figured out. But yeah, this is where I'm going to leave it for today, guys, and that's going to be it for part one, building our P-40E. And so I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out. I do appreciate it. If you guys would just check out the description box down below there, and you're going to see some links to my Instagram and to my Twitch and all that kind of good stuff. If you check out my Instagram, I do upload pictures of every build that I've done in the past, so you can check those out there. Every time I finish, I just kind of take a few pictures of it and I upload it to my Instagram. You can check those out if you feel like it. I do really appreciate if you hit the like button, and if you hit subscribe also. Yeah, help me out, guys. Shameless plug there, yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you all in the next one.